intentional, structured process of establishing a value chain. So it's not just about having an isolated case for the media, for the photo op.
Yeah.
So you go, you find Zach with his electronic substitution board,
yes.
You pose for a photo with him for the media, and that is it.
And that is it.
We are establishing a value chain.
Okay.
The beds, for instance, if you have these young people who are producing beds for our hospitals,
yes,
you should be able to connect that to UHC as a government program, Universal Health Program. And UHC is about expanding the base of providing healthcare. UHC is about expanding services at the grassroots level so that Zach becomes part of the whole UHC value chain and he finds a plug-in point. One of the ways in which we are answering that very genuine concern you've raised of foreign products is that the president has announced a ban on importation of foreign furniture. And the ban is being implemented by ensuring that this furniture is heavily taxed so that we discourage importation. How do you go importing beds? And we have had a situation where people import beds from all over the place.
Yes.
The president has said, why can't we use the beds you're making here? And they're actually beds of superior quality. And so, rather than isolated cases, the program we have for young people is to establish value chains. And one of the key value chains, just to conclude,
yes,
is that we are establishing what we are calling the sports apparels and equipment value chain. So that around Kenya's sporting brand, for instance, we have young people in Mukuru who are making balls as part of the sports apparel value chain. We have young people in Roysambu, in Kasarani, who are making uniforms. We have this ex-international football player, Sami Shalay, who has put out a whole line called Warrior Fashion, producing apparels in the sporting industry.
Great
and
stuff,
the purpose for this is that it should not be isolated, it should not be for the show, it should be part of a deliberate, intentional, and structured value chain.
And those are great, ideas, Waziri, that you mentioned. For a ministry that you said you inherited, not in the liking that you found, in the way of doing things. Do you then anticipate that perhaps you will, encounter bumps, frustrations along the way, and trying to, push this agenda in as much as you have taxes? In the long run, there are those who could say, well, we can afford these taxes, then we will proceed.
Challenges are galore. Challenges are myriad. In fact, the only constant in this game of public service is challenges. You face challenges all the time.
So how are you going to then navigate through them?
One of the biggest challenges is resistance to change.
Yes.
Human beings are creatures of habit. We do things habitually. So you get used to doing things. So if you're used to importing your products from some foreign land, that becomes almost like your addiction. Getting people to turn around their mind and accept that we can actually produce these things locally and produce them in good quality is a challenge. But we will keep pumping that message. Buy Kenya, build Kenya. Drive young people to innovate. I'm very excited about the innovation of Zach. I'm very excited about, and I want to see Zach's substitution electronic board in every single football game in this country. We are going to be hosting AFCON. I want to be able to convince CAF that all the electronic boards that will be used during the Africa Cup of Nations in 2027 should actually be Zach's products.
And Zach is watching. He will hold you accountable should his boards not be used.
You're watching. And I have challenged Zach. I don't want it to be a one-man show. I want Zach to establish a whole production line. The same thing with work that is being done by people like Quinta Achieng.
In a twist of events, Waziri, then how do you innovate when you see that some of the issues that young people are complaining about is the taxes?
One of the things, of course, that we have to be deliberate about, and we are being very deliberate about, is creating an environment that gives young people relief. Give young people relief like Zach. Zach is innovating in an environment where we are protecting him, we are supporting him, and we are opening channels to the market. Let me mention something else where I believe our intervention for young people is really relevant. We are in the process of putting together a program we are calling 1 million youth green army for climate adaptation. You do realize that the greatest challenge to humanity today is the challenge of climate change.
Yes.
We have entered into a partnership with the Global Center for Adaptation, the University of Nairobi, and the University of Groningen is a Dutch university in the Netherlands.
Yes.
And we have put together a program that is going to provide training for young people so that if you want to build a career in climate change, climate adaptation, environmental stuff, you can get your training under this program and progress your career. Or if you just want to be part of our drive to help plant 15 billion trees and be part of the whole agenda of climate adaptation, this program is for you. And it is a program which is going to mobilize millions of young people. The Generation Unlimited program of the UN that I mentioned is targeting 10 million people worldwide. Kenya, we are saying of these 10 million people, we will plug in 1 million people, 1 million young Kenyans to be part of this climate adaptation program. So the long and short of it is that we are very intentional, deliberate, and structured. We have put together an agenda, the young people's agenda, that a lot of young people can plug in from different points of the compass. They can look at it from 7D, whether it's from the approach of innovation, skilling, climate adaptation, whichever angle you look at it, every young Kenyan can easily plug into our young people's agenda.
As we wind up on this, issue of, the youth affairs, looking at, the summits that are coming up, I gather the Youth Connect Summit is coming up, 20,000 youths from across the region, as well as the Kenya Innovation Week, Commonwealth edition. What would be some of the tangible